pool table cleaner and the official table cleaner of Professional Pool. Order yours today at chalkoff.com. And the Billiard Club Pro Shop, where you'll find the greatest deals on pool cues, balls, racks, and a whole lot more. For all your pool and billiard supplies, visit billiardclub.net. Billiard Club TV is your source for championship pool. And now, the World Pool Masters.
Welcome to the seaside resort of Egmond aan Zee on the Netherlands North Sea coast, where there's a party atmosphere for a local fisherman's festival. All the fun of the fair and lots of live music for families enjoying a sunny weekend. But when the sun begins to set, the party atmosphere moves indoors to the Hotel Zuiderdown, home of the partycasino.com World Pool Masters, where Raj Hundal of England is off to a flying start, defending his title. 16 of the world's leading 9-ball pool players from right around the world, 9 nations from as far apart as China and the USA, Japan and Hungary. Each match a race to 8 racks with alternate breaks. Among the stars, 17-year-old double world champion Wu from Chinese Taipei and snooker superstar Ronnie O'Sullivan. Already through to the quarterfinals, Hundal in a nervy error-strewn match. Coming up next, Rodney Morris, one of the most popular players on the circuit, not only with the fans, but also his competitors. At last year's World Championship, he reached the semi-finals. Niels Feijen, one of European pool's most consistent players. Imran Majid of England won the Italian Open recently. Lely won here in '99. Ralph Souquet of Germany, a 4-time winner. A full house for match 2 to watch local hero Niels Feijen. Your commentators are Ted Lerner and first, Jim White.
No prizes for guessing who's going to be supported the heaviest in this particular match. A real crowd favorite and a crowd pleaser, the Terminator, Niels Feijen, up against the Rocket, Rodney Morris. And Ted Lerner, alongside myself, Jim White. Ted, we were talking earlier as Rodney came in, and I asked you if you knew what that little signal was that Rodney does, and you hit it dead on.
That's right. That's the Shaka sign, means hang loose. And, you know, while they're supporting Feijen, Rodney's a very popular player. He's got that wide smile, and that Shaka sign means, Jim, hang loose. And that's why he's popular, because he's a real laid-back guy. And he's got a fun game to watch.
And just Niels Feijen after the lag, so he will kick things off. Race to 8 for a place in the quarterfinals. Round 1 action. Rack number 1, and that cue ball kicks straight into the corner pocket. That's not the way Niels wanted to start this one out. That was more down to bad luck than anything. But watch that cue ball. He nailed it right into the middle, and the 2 kicked it straight into the throat of that top corner. And I think that one's going to hurt. Rodney goes through the balls in whippet-like fashion. He wastes little time. He's got a very easy canter around the table. And I think what's so intimidating about the Rocket, yeah, he throws his arms up right away, a mistake, and you know he's going to have to come to terms with the speed of this table. And you know, if you'll remember our first match with Raj Hundal, he had all kinds of problems with the speed of the table as well. And Rodney had to go at the 9 there.
Nearly went in.
But you know something? There's a chance here. I don't know whether Niels would take it on, but, you know, about a half ball hit on the 3, spinning the cue ball off 2 cushions, it would be tracking right down towards that 9. The only thing is he'd be putting all his eggs in one basket. I don't know whether he'd fancy that, but the shot is on. 2 cushions down for the 9. And that's exactly what he's doing.
Did he hit it right?
Well, he tried to go after the 9 there, and you know what? He got second prize. He's left Rodney right over top that 9. I don't see any step ladders in the crowd.
You know, if he would have hit that just a little bit harder, he may have been able to knock that 9 in.
Yeah, that was never going to be easy, but that's a pretty good reply from Rodney. Full ball snooker, and again, where that 9 is, these players know one mistake and this rack is going to be over. And the jump shot with the playing cue, a la Earl Strickland. Yeah, he's very quickly just asked Michaela Tabb whether or not jump cues are allowed, and we can confirm that they are. And so did she. So you're going to see the jump cue employed here. And again, Ted, he's going to be trying to bank this 3. A full ball hit. He's targeting the 9.
Well, that 9 is just sitting there making the player salivate. You can see it on the left corner, bottom left corner.
Looking for a full ball contact here. And this is close.
Real
close. The clenched fist says it all. 9 down, and just like that, Feijen off the mark against the Rocket. 1-0.
The game starts with a clean table. Get it clean with Chalk Off, the official pool table cleaner of the U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship. Just spray it on and wipe it off. That's all it takes. That's Chalk Off, the complete pool table cleaner.
What a shot to open accounts here. Definitely worth another look. As soon as he struck it, I knew it was going to be close.
This is one you're going to see time and time again on the Whirlpool Masters this year.
Yeah, a real look of focus and determination written all over Niels' face.
This is a great matchup because both these guys are, young stars, and they travel all over the world, and they're well liked everywhere they go, and they're such professionals.
Very true. I mean, you wouldn't want to live on the difference between the fan base of these two. Rack number 2, the Rocket propels himself into that break, and once again, the 9 very near a corner pocket. Now, does Rodney have a shot at that 1? Difficult to tell. It's very close. And our overhead perspective does little to give us anything conclusive. It looks like he may just be able to see enough of that 1. But his body language tells me different. If he could hold the cue ball, oh, he spun it. He tried to spin it around that ball and just kind of slither that 1 into the pocket. And Ted, 2 mistakes early from Rodney Morris.
Now pay attention to that 2 ball on the right side down at the bottom of your screen, because you can see him looking at it, the 2-9 combination.
Got a swing. Oh, he's contacted the 5. Unintended. Now, the billiard. He'll bank that 2 up the top end of the table, and he's going to try and take the cue ball over and attack the 9.
He didn't seem like he hit that with enough pace to get the ball over for the 2-9.
Well, this is going to be close. Very difficult. I don't really expect him to get it, but I think he's got to take it on. Oh, he got it! Great shot from Feijen! Got the 2 as well. A double dagger, but that 9 down. And the first 2 racks, we've seen terrific shots from Niels Feijen to stake himself to a 2-0 lead. What an effort there again.
Boy, he's focused on that 9 ball like a laser beam so far.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to get that. That was a real tough shot. And given that it was only the second rack and that Niels had only played a handful of shots on the table, to judge that as well as he did, well, you just can't say enough.
Introducing the Bar Q by Samsara. Get one at barq.com.
Welcome back to the partycasino.com Whirlpool Masters, where Feijen now leads 3-0 in the race to 8.
Morris at the table, 3-0 he trails. He needs to make something happen in rack 4 here, and he's got a perfect break. The order of the day, everything ideally placed. This is going to be 3-1 in less than a couple minutes. But what a perfect break from Rodney there.
Look at that cue ball, just stayed right in the middle of the table.
The only problem for Morris, and he knows it, is he's already dropped one against his break. And that means he's got to try and hope for a chance to repay the favor. Sorry, Ted, I was going to say he needs to do that to win the match now.
What makes it so hard for a player to replicate a break like that, time and time again?
Well, when you figure that one out, Ted, you'll have solved the mystery of 9-ball. Back to the middle of the table. Perfect angle, the cue ball back over for the 8. One characteristic of Morris is he does make the game look preposterously easy.
And Rodney, the Rocket Morris, gets one back on Feijen. He moves to within 2. The score now is Niels Feijen 3, Rodney Morris 1. It's a race to 8, alternate break. And coming up in our 5th rack, it's Feijen, who will be breaking.
Niels Feijen to break, leading by 3 racks to 1.
The Terminator in rack number 5 needs to see a couple balls down. Just about made the 9, but he does not have a clear shot at the 2, not one with which he can attack. But that 9 was tracking towards that side pocket, Ted, and you saw Niels with his cue pointing at it, watch it, got kicked, started heading right towards that side. I think Niels was trying to will it in. It's a big match for Feijen. He knows how popular Morris is. He knows what a great player Rodney is. Former U.S. Open champion and also the former Whirlpool League title holder. Semi-finalist in the World Championships. Morris has been there and done that and got the T-shirt to prove it.
And a runner-up last year in this very event.
Rodney can only watch. He feels like he's going to be getting back to the table. He's perked up a little bit. It's just a question of what sort of safety that's going to be greeting him when he does. Niels just can't quite make his mind up. He's got the option of trying to keep that cue ball behind the 9, holding it, but he knows he's going to be banking that 2 up towards the bottom right corner as we look, and that's the danger. And the other option would be trying to take the cue ball back down behind cover where he's holding his hand. And that means he's got to avoid contacting the 4. Well, is he pushing? Yes, he's going to push out. This is off the break, totally legal. You don't see this very often. Not when there's a clear path to the lowest color remaining. But Niels obviously feeling like he wants to try and give himself a little easier safety option or something that doesn't present as much risk. I think Rodney's almost got to put him back in here. Like this looks like it's on virtually the same line. The only thing that Niels did effectively, Ted, is he's tied the 7 and the 8 up. Yeah, no surprises. Morris brings him right back to the table. 7 and 8 on the right-hand side. They're going to have to be matured.
Still a lot to think about here for him.
Well, he's widened the angle slightly, and that means that he could try and keep that cue ball in behind the 9 and would be bringing the 2 back up towards the center of the table as opposed to the corner. But, you know, I just don't like his I don't like his thinking here. I think he's left himself a considerably tougher shot than he had prior. And that was a full-throttled attack. He went for the bank shot there. And he's left Morris a very slight opening. It's a tough shot down that cushion into the bottom right corner. I've seen Rodney knock these in under considerably more stressful conditions than present itself now. And I think he's going to take it on.
Oh, that's nicely done.
Well, again, you've got to go back to Feijen's thinking process and the prior shot. Always easy to say in hindsight. But it certainly looks like it was a wrong decision now, and Morris purposely leaving himself the angle on this 5 to try and open up that 7 and 8. But position to the green 6 next, not guaranteed. But accomplished. Just like that, Rodney Morris is back on song. We said he had to steal one against Feijen's break. And Ted, that's just exactly what he looks like doing. Oh. The curse has arrived yet again. We saw a number of unforced errors in our opening round match where Raj Hundal took out Hiroshi Takanaka 8-5.
And you see that sometimes from Rodney Morris. Similar to Hundal in his style and that freewheeling style, and just loses concentration right in the middle of a run.
I have to confess, I haven't seen it from Rodney near as often as what we saw it from Hundal in the first match, but it doesn't matter to Feijen. There'll be no sympathy cards exchanged. Deposits the 9 to go 4-1 clear. Morris had his chance, did everything he could do to win the rack, and missed a simple ball to leave it back to Feijen.
Nice rack. Hey, we're talking about the Club Rack. The Club Rack is available in 3 beautiful colors: oak, cherry, and natural. Get the Club Rack. It's full like it ought to be.
Rack 6, Rodney Morris to break, trailing by 4 racks to 1.
4-1 in favor of Niels Feijen. Morris at the table, rack 6. A horrific miss in the last one. Allowed Feijen to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. And now Rodney Morris. Ball off the break. He's looking at the 1. And he's running for that wall of colors. And I think he's found it.
You know, earlier this year, Morris wasn't playing that well. The balls weren't dropping for him, so he decided to shave his head. And his next tournament out, he won. But he got so tired of shaving his head every day that he said that's enough. So he let his hair grow back.
Well, Niels had a brief thought about jumping this, and in fact, he's got his jump cue in his hand right now. The only problem is jumping it. If he gets the 1, look where he leaves the cue ball on the 2, in no man's land. So where's the benefit? That's why he's had a look at possibly trying to kick for a safety. And that's exactly what he's doing now. He has circled the table, trying to weigh up the options and look at the angles. He certainly has a 2 and a 3 cushion escape from the left-hand side. And if he does elect to jump this, Ted, I don't expect him to try and pocket it. And in fact, he didn't. He tried to contact it on the other side. Now, has he been lucky? Don't think so.
Looks like Rodney can see a piece of that 1. It's down 4-1. It's a race to 8 alternate break. So he really needs this rack.
Rodney very quick back to his chair. He's not happy with his performance to this stage. And he's digging himself a very deep hole, one with which he may not be able to extract himself from. Niels just has to get this back into the middle of the table. That 5, that orange 5 is a danger ball. He's got to clear that. And if he digs in and brings it, swings it off the left-hand cushion, he takes the 5 right out of play, and that's exactly what he's done.
Niels currently ranked the #1 player in the world by the WPA, the World Pool Association.
Well, that's no mean feat.
Travels all over the world to play pool.
Well, he's showing us why right now. Morris, as capable a player as there is anywhere. And Niels on the verge of going 5-1 in front. Just forcing that through, leaving himself angle. That's what these players try and do. They want to try and achieve an angle on every shot because it gives them so much more in the way of positional options.
That's right. It's not all about just potting the balls. It's about that cue ball, the mother ball, moving that thing around like it's got a magnet under the table.
He really does deliver that cue so nicely through that white.
You know, Jim, he's looking very solid at this point. This 9 ball extends the lead for Niels Feijen to 4 racks. He's now up 5 racks to 1. And in our 7th rack, Feijen will be breaking in a race to 8 alternate break. He is in total control at this point.
Rack 'em up. Watch all the action online at billiardclub.net to see Pro Pool's biggest events of the year, including the U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship. Watch all the feature matches in their entirety. See every single shot from start to finish with the latest and greatest in streaming video technology online only at billiardclub.net. Log on today and experience Pro Pool like never before with your front row seat at billiardclub.net.
Welcome back to the partycasino.com Whirlpool Masters, where in rack 7 there's a safety battle going on, and Feijen of Holland is at the table.
Well, you don't think about it, but these players walk a great distance, in a match, an extended match, where they're walking around the table, in and out of their chair, and I'd love to know what the distance is, but I'd be willing to wager it's probably a couple miles a match. A lot of breaks in between, but there's still a lot of walking. Now he's looking at this. He just wants to lay this into an area. He certainly doesn't want to give Rodney anything with which that he can play a good aggressive safety in return. And he also didn't leave him enough to be able to bank that back into the corner pocket. That almost worked out ideally for Morris. He hasn't left the one. But he certainly hasn't given Niels anything to try and build anything in the way of an aggressive option here. That was really all Rodney could ask for. He's just looking at the options. That's what these players do, Ted. They'll weigh everything up. I mean, they always like to attack. And if that presents itself in any way, shape, or form, that's going to be their first choice.
Well, that's the amazing thing about pool players. They have so many things to think about before executing a shot. And he got away with that one.
Yeah, he sure did. He hasn't offered his hand in apology, but I can tell you, with the cue ball and the one so close, to not leave Rodney a shot here. And Morris knows it. That's what I like about Rodney, though. A lot of players would come to the table and shake their head about that. Morris, no sign of negativity. He knows there's still a long ways to go in this match, and he knows it can turn.
Rodney's also a bit of a streak player. Once he gets on a roll, he is hard to stop. And in sport, you've got to maintain that attitude, that positive attitude. You cannot let the negatives filter in.
Especially in individual sports. That's the key to success, is focusing on the positives. It's the old adage, it's not how good your good game is, it's how good your bad game is. Just trying to hold that behind the 9.
Battle of safeties now.
Rodney's body language does not exude anything with confidence. He's got his arms dangling at his side. He's always got that easy walk around the table, but I just detect there's no bounce in his step.
Well, Niels is putting him in some tough positions.
It was a good hit. Just about made the one in the corner. Morris again tried to use a little body English to deflect it into that corner pocket. But the initiative remains with Niels Feijen. He's played a couple good safeties already. And he knows that if he just keeps to his business, eventually the mistake should come. At least that's the game plan. And that was an attempted bank. Again, played with the speed that if he missed it, he was going to leave it in the middle of the cushion.
Two-way shot. Much of safety play is about patience, isn't it? It's really who can outlast the other.
I did want the double kiss there. And a very similar shot for Feijen. If he elects to again try the shot to nothing. But he's got to miss that 6 with the cue ball if he's going to take that white up towards the colors and the end of the table that's occupied by the 3. The 2 is the next ball on. So if Niels does go after a bank shot here, he's got to be very wary not to get that cue ball behind the 3, 5, 9. No, this is just safety. 100% safety.
That was nicely done. A protracted safety battle here between Feijen and Morris.
I think Rodney may have left Feijen a chance at this one.
That didn't work.
Long distance, and it's not going to be easy knocking this in and getting the cue ball back for the 2. And he's going to have to be very mindful of that side pocket. If he overhits this, he could draw this right into that side pocket. He never came close to getting into that cue ball anywhere near as much as he wanted to. Cannoning the 3. He's still got a long, difficult shot at the 2, but he wanted to get that cue ball over the left-hand side of the table.
Well, plenty of work still need to be done here for Niels in this rack, but he has a ray of light appearing at the end of the tunnel here. Well, no more. Except he got away with it again.
The balls are running in his favor. Little doubt. And as yet, Morris is... He's not shook his head, not once. He just comes to the table and accepts his medicine.
It's got to be a little frustrating for Rodney, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's been playing for about 8 minutes now, and all safeties. And
a little humor there from Morris, though. You heard him say push out. But nah, it's not favoring him. No, he's made a nice contact. Cue ball came right down, and for a minute looked like it could duck behind one of those collars and tortured him yet again.
Don't forget, in the Whirlpool Masters, you lose, you're out. You do not get a second chance.
Sudden death, Ted. Now, he's looking at the 3, and the 5-9 is a dead combination into the corner pocket. So, Ted, you can grab your pen, because this is going to be 6-1. And there's confirmation. 9 down. Niels Feijen keeps the crowd in spirit, and a 6-1 lead.
Rodney Morris to break, trailing by 6 racks to 1.
And trailing 6-1, Morris comes to the table. A little bit of frustration and possibly aggression in that break. Got a ball off the break, but the storyline remains the same.
3 down, Jim, but more frustration for Rodney. Does not have a clear shot on the 2 ball. And this has been the story of the match for him.
I half expect him to just throw his hands up and say, "What? Listen, when are you going to give me a break? I'm allowed a break every now and then."
Push out.
He's nominated the push. And this will be an interesting decision for Niels Feijen. Obviously no danger hitting that 2 ball. Does Niels think that he can strike it in such a way to be able to attack that 7 over the top left corner? If he does, he'll take it on. If he doesn't, Morris could be coming back to the table.
I like this move here. He's going to put the onus on Rodney to do something with this, and I think that at 6-1 ahead, that's a smart move.
Obviously, Niels Feijen didn't see that one. Boy, he made that look easy. Nice shot there, just using the 8 to keep the cue ball on the right-hand side of the table. The 6 is over the left side.
Any advice for Morris at this point?
Don't miss.
Absolutely brilliant, Jim.
Every now and then I come out with a pearl. Rodney also knows that the deficit of 6-1 is going to be pretty tough to overhaul given the format of the alternating break. But look at him. He enjoys it out there. 6-2 in favor of Niels Feijen. It'll be Feijen to break in the next. Morris has done all he can.
Hi, I'm Alan Hopkins, and this is the Chameleon, the first rack for all pool games. Its unique tightening features guarantee a tight rack of balls every time.
For a limited time, get $10 off with the Rack of Champions, the Chameleon.
Rodney Morris, semi-finalist in the World Championship last year, the U.S. Open. Probably the biggest jewel in his crown, and obviously the Whirlpool League Championship. He's traveled all over the world, and as we said earlier, Ted, he's a very difficult man to dislike, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's looking like he's enjoying life, all right? You know, he's got a new 4-week-old baby boy, so congratulations to him and his wife. And he's been based out of Tampa, Florida in the last few years, and he's really enjoying life down there.
Feijen cracks into the break.
Off, please, whoever that was.
When the 9 toyed with the pocket.
Yeah, what a beautiful break, though. Look at this. Everything in the open. Doesn't have to work the cue ball too much. 6-2 in front. This is just what Rodney Morris didn't want to see. This is all on Niels' shoulders right now. In practice, I'd bet he'd knock these in one-handed. Now the only problem ball, and I say only, is the 8 that Niels is already looking at, which means he's thinking 4 shots ahead from the brown 7 in the middle of the table to that 8. It's just a matter of whether that 8 passes the 9, and it certainly looks like there's plenty of room. But this is just almost too easy. The 6 goes by the 9, and that means the 8 will pass the 9 as well.
And besides which, Niels is playing a solid match here.
He's taking his chances. The first 2 racks where he made those great shots to deposit the 9 with the jump shot and then the billiard on the 9, that really set the table for him. I mean, put Morris under pressure, and he seems to have just, carried it through and kept Rodney under the gun throughout this match. And that's not the best positional shot. He'd like to have been a little straighter on this 8, because it's not wide open past that 9. And played what we call a drag shot there, Ted. Slow bottom to kill the pace of the cue ball.
Well, this one, Jim, to put him on the hill. And then down it goes. Feijen on the hill. His hometown fans loving it. It's 7-2 in favor of Niels Feijen.
Are you looking for the ultimate one-stop shop for pool and billiard supplies? Then you need to visit billiardclub.net today for everything and anything you need for your home entertainment center. Our huge online store features pool cues, balls, racks, cue cases, pool table lights, training aids, and every accessory you could possibly imagine. We've got the best prices and the highest quality products you'll find anywhere. Log on today to billiardclub.net or call toll-free 866-774-8770. billiardclub.net.
Morris will break in the next rack. 5-rack lead. This is going to be very, very tough for Rodney Morris to overcome. Niels from the Netherlands.
Yes, he's the world WPA #1, and that's some mantle. I know he's a semi-finalist in the U.S. Open as well.
Rack 10, Rodney Morris to break, trailing by 7
He's won a
racks.
ton of European Tour events. Well, Rodney got that 9 in motion. Again, he knows this match is virtually out of his hands with all the breaks that Niels Feijen has to come. Even at 7-2, he can do his part, hold serve. But Feijen is going to have so many looks in, and Rodney knows that.
Well, Rodney's going to be disappointed with this outcome here at the Masters unless he pulls off an absolute miracle after coming in as a semifinal, as a runner-up in the previous year to Raj Hundal.
But you know, Ted, you draw on something very important there, because his runner-up performance last year, I'll tell you what, he was down 6-0 to Alex Pagulayan last year. Same format, and he beat Pagulayan. So he's on the mark. The comeback trail starts. 1 ball, 1 rack at a time. 7-3. Morris needs all 5 remaining racks. See Niels' girlfriend in the middle there in the blue shirt, blue top. She's a terrific player in her own right. Catherine, I watched her on the practice table a little earlier today, and there's a lot of guys happy she's not in the tournament. Boy, she can play. So Niels with his first chance to try and secure the match, move into the quarterfinals, and book a date with Raj Hundal. His break, rack number 11, leading 7-3.
Well, it looks like he's may be able to see the 1.
An anxious look just before he ran behind the cue ball there. And he's having another one from the other end. He's got a great break, Feijen. I think he might just be able to get through to this. If not, he will definitely just slow spin it around the 2, but he'll be attacking here. I mean, he's got the comfort zone of that 4-rack lead. Though you don't want to say that he can afford mistakes, but if you're ever going to take a chance, you do it at 7-3 in front. So I expect him to try and just slow spin this, get that one, or attempt to get the one. Well, he does have to play a little bit of spin on that cue ball, but watch him just try and apply left-hand spin to it. Oh,
beautiful.
He could see it. He could actually see it full ball the way that he played that. I mean, he played left-hand spin anyway, but the speed that he played it, he didn't have to try and just slowly curve around that two. So and now, sorry, Ted, now it's all about cue ball control.
Well, Feijen solves this puzzle right now. He's in our quarterfinals. And you will hear a huge roar from these Dutch fans.
Well, the big shot's going to be coming very soon because position from the 4 to the 5 will hold the key in this rack. Niels wants the proper angle on that 4. He's showing you right now where he wants to be after depositing the 3 to get back over to attack that 5 into the same pocket as this 3's going. He's pretty much got the angle that he was showing us. So off that side cushion, back through the middle of the table. This is all about the speed.
Oh, he's done it.
He's played terrific, Feijen. I mean, you really can't remember any glaring mistakes in this match. You know, in stark contrast to Hundal's that kicked things off this year. I mean, if Feijen plays like this and Raj Hundal comes out and doesn't improve his form, there'll only ever be one winner in that quarterfinal.
You have to say this about Feijen. He's got a nice gait, nice confidence as he walks around the table. He's extremely focused and he's moving with a purpose, but he's been taking his time as well. And very few errors.
Yeah, noticeably those balls are going into the heart of the pockets. And just roll this in. I think Rodney now has resigned himself to losing this match, knowing he's going to be coming out of his chair for nothing more than to offer his hand in congratulations. And the crowd is starting to feel it already too. The 9 down, and it is confirmed here. One of their hometown boys is going through to the quarterfinals. Niels Feijen, an 8-3 win over Rodney Morris, a convincing win over a very good player.
So now we look forward to the next match where another Dutchman, Nick van den Berg, takes on Vilmos Valdes from Hungary. Join us again here in Holland for more 9-ball action in the partycasino.com Whirlpool Masters.
You're watching the Whirlpool Masters on Billiard Club Television, where the greatest players compete for professional pool's most coveted titles. Billiard Club TV is brought to you by Chalk Off, the complete pool table cleaner, and the official table cleaner of Professional Pool. Order yours today at chalkoff.com. And the Billiard Club Pro Shop, where you'll find the greatest